Hi, my name is Ryan Albig. And this is my family genogram project. I'd like to start out by taking a look at my PowerPoint. If you could do that, Professor. There's a lot going on that graph, and a lot of different features going all over the place, but all the lines connect back, and in the bottom you'll notice that in the bottom right hand corner it all connects to myself, Ryan. I'm going to start with the top left corner. That side is kind of the unknown side, and I'm not too sure about it. I've asked questions in the past. It's just not talked about that much on that side of the family. There's a lot of mental health problems and a lot of other issues going on that side that the Albig family just doesn't normally want to talk about. Starting out, Gordon Albig, and this is actually my grandfather. I've actually never seen him before. His nickname was Gordo. He was adopted from an adoption agency whose records were later lost, so that's kind of interesting. Don't really have any records of where he's actually from, and we haven't been able to figure that out. He raised my father in Redford, Michigan, and Grandpa was last heard of in Florida, and that's all I have about him. On to the next person in the family tree. She's not really a family member because they were never married. Actually, Gordon, he died in 1999. Jean was the woman who is my father's mother and my aunt's mother as well, Aunt Samantha. Her name is Jean Rich. Don't really know much about her. I know that she was born around the same age as my grandfather. That's about it. My dad really doesn't want to talk about it that much, and honestly, my half-brother and half-sister don't know much about their grandfather or grandmother either. They are normally, like myself, have kind of the A grandparents and the B grandparents. It was only one set of grandparents, the mother's side of the grandparents. So I want to talk about Jean a little bit. The little bit that I know about her, she was not much of a mother to either of my half-brother and half-sister, Tammy or Mick. Eventually she left, and she's yet to make her whereabouts known to any of their other children. My Aunt Samantha, she's been extremely bipolar her whole life, which really caused a lot of stress early on in the Albig household. Over time, she was medicated correctly and has lived a fairly normal life until late 2009, and she apparently wasn't happy where she eventually ended up deciding to take her own life. And the interesting thing about that is my father, who is her brother, didn't hear about it until about a year afterwards. Next person I want to move on to is my father. He's been married 2 times. His first marriage was to Trudy Lattis in 1969. His second marriage was in 1986 to my mother, Linda Albig. My father and I are still very close, even with him living near Chicago. His relationship, like mine, is very strained with my biological brother, Scott. My dad was born in 1947. And he obviously is still alive, and his wife at the time, when they were married from 1969 to 1981, she was born in 1948. The children of Michael and Trudy are Tammy and Mick. Those are my half-brothers and half-sister. My half-sister Tammy, we're just like real brothers and sisters. We've always kind of felt that we are, even though we are half-brother and half-sister. Our relationship is good, and she has 3 children from a previous marriage to Gene Larimore. Gene Larimore is the ex-husband of Tammy, and the father of my nephews Nick, Josh, and my niece Kayla. When the kids were younger, Gene was able to see those kids at least once a weekend, even with my sister living on a military base. Half-brother Mick, yeah, we're on good terms as well. He lives close by in Adrian, and my mother and I go over to his house on the holidays with his wife Crystal. They were married in 2006. My brother born in 1977, Gene born in 71, and my sister born in 1971 as well. Like I said, Crystal and Mick were born in 2006. They have no children, and my relationship with Crystal is good as well. My niece, Kayla Larimore, she just graduated from high school, is going to follow in her mother's footsteps and join the Navy. I haven't seen her in about a decade, and and all the kids have been on very different Navy bases in their lifetimes. So they really haven't been able to stick into one school system. So it's been nice that she was able to graduate from one high school for 4 years. My nephew Nick, he's a 21-year-old. He doesn't really have a goal or a view of what he wants to do for his future, and he still lives with his mother Tammy. Josh, He is in high school and on the wrestling team, and all the Larimore children and I are on pretty good terms. My great-grandfather, switching over to the right side of the genogram, he was born in 1909, actually, and lived a full life all the way up until 1987. My great-grandmother, Jenny Schober, she is still alive. She's actually the oldest person in Tecumseh, born in 1905 and is 107 years old. She was married back in 1927, had a long-time marriage to Grayson all the way up until 1980. Grayson and Jenny both had they had children together. They had 2 children total. My great aunt Victoria Heilman and my grandma Nelma Heilman. Eventually, my grandma, who was born in 1933, my great aunt Victoria, born in 1935. Nelma was married to Martin Korth in 1948. And going back to Vicky, she was born 2 years after my grandma and died in 1995. So I didn't really get to know her that much because I was born in 1990, only 5 years at the time. And I know that she was especially involved in gardening and really liked to talk about what was going on with her and all her flowers. My grandma and I are on good terms. I like to see her from time to time on the holidays. She still likes to make me zucchini bread in the fall time. My grandfather was always there when he wanted to play some billiards or any type of sports. He died in brain cancer in 2004, and something kind of attached to that. I had a hockey tournament at the time, and when I found out about that news, obviously it was very shocking. I had to go out the next day and still play. But we ended up winning that tournament, which I thought was kind of interesting. Getting back to the genogram, we've got my mother, who is obviously the daughter of Martin and Nelma, and my uncle, Martin Korth Jr., call him Uncle Marty. My mom was born in 1953, and she's my closest family member I ever have. She's always been there for me, and then she is the mother of myself and my brother Scott. My uncle and I are on good terms of late. We see each other on the holidays as well. He is married to my Aunt Sarah and has been since 1980, and they have a daughter, Laura, who has extreme special needs. My Aunt Sarah, she works at Siena Heights, and as an admissions officer, she likes to spend a lot of time with Laura because of her mental incapacities, excuse me. Like I said, my cousin Laura, she is very mentally handicapped. She is almost 30 and is yet to leave the home. My brother and I have very strained relations. My father and my brother are the same way. He lives in Arizona and refuses to speak to myself, and has been that way since 2005. And then on to me. Like I said, my family's small. It's a very diverse and interesting group. We're not that very close overall, but on the occasion and on the holidays, a small portion of us will get together and spend some time together and talk about what's going on in each other's life. And we do love each other. It's just not a very close family. With the size of it, it's not very big to begin with. I wish we would get together a little bit more, but that's not the case. That's just not the way we're structured. So when we do get a chance to see each other, it's always very nice. And that's the extent of my family genogram. I will have this uploaded on YouTube today.